If the world had only one language, it would have significant implications for global communication, culture, and identity. Here are some potential consequences. Improve global communication. With only one language, people all over the world would be able to communicate with each other more easily and efficiently. This could lead to greater understanding and collaboration across different cultures and regions, as people would no longer be hindered by language barriers. Cultural homogenization. A single language could lead to the loss of cultural diversity, as different languages are often closely tied to specific cultures and identities. This could result in a global culture that is more uniform and less diverse, as people adopt the same language, values, and beliefs. Language extinction. If a single language were to emerge, it could lead to the extinction of many smaller, less widely spoken languages. This could result in the loss of important cultural and linguistic traditions, as well as the erosion of cultural diversity. Economic implications. A single language could have significant economic implications, as it could facilitate global trade and commerce. It could also lead to a greater emphasis on learning the dominant language, potentially creating economic opportunities for those who are proficient in it. Identity and nationalism. Language is often closely tied to identity, and a single language could challenge the identity and sense of nationalism of many different countries and communities. This could lead to resistance and backlash against the imposition of a single language, particularly among groups that feel that their cultural and linguistic traditions are being threatened. Educational implications. With a single language, there would be no need for language instruction in schools, freeing up resources for other subjects. However, it could also limit the exposure of students to different cultures and ways of thinking. Linguistic imperialism. If one language became dominant, it could lead to a form of linguistic imperialism, where speakers of other languages are pressured or forced to abandon their native language in favor of the dominant one. This could lead to resentment and backlash from those who feel that their language and culture are being threatened. Technical challenges. While a single language could make communication easier, it would also present technical challenges in terms of translation and interpretation. Different dialects and accents could also present challenges to communication. One important aspect of a world with only one language is the potential impact on language learning and education. If everyone spoke the same language, it would no longer be necessary to learn a second or third language in order to communicate with people from different countries or cultures. This could potentially free up resources in schools and universities that are currently dedicated to language instruction. However, it could also lead to a loss of language diversity and reduce exposure to different cultures and ways of thinking. Another potential consequence of a world with a single language is the impact on literature and the arts. Different languages have unique literary traditions and styles, and a single language could lead to the homogenization of global literature and art. It could also create challenges for translators and make it more difficult to accurately convey the nuances and cultural context of different works. Another potential implication of a world with only one language is its impact on technological development and innovation. Language is a key component of technology, and different languages often have unique technical vocabularies and terms. A single language could potentially facilitate more efficient communication in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and promote greater collaboration across different regions and cultures. It could also lead to the development of a more standardized technical language, which could facilitate cross-cultural understanding and innovation. However, a single language could also present challenges for the development of artificial intelligence and machine learning. Language is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon, and developing systems that can understand and interpret a single global language could be a significant technological challenge. It could also limit the range of languages and cultures that are represented in technological innovation, potentially leading to biases and inequities in the development and implementation of new technologies. Another potential implication of a world with a single language is its impact on migration and mobility. Currently, language barriers often limit people's ability to move and work in different countries and regions. If a single language were to emerge, it could potentially facilitate greater mobility and reduce barriers to migration, leading to more diverse and multicultural societies. However, it could also lead to a loss of cultural and linguistic diversity in different regions, potentially eroding the richness and uniqueness of different cultural traditions. Finally, a world with only one language could have important implications for international diplomacy and conflict resolution. Currently, language barriers often hinder communication and collaboration between different countries and cultures. If a single language were to emerge, it could facilitate greater understanding and cooperation between different nations and promote more effective conflict resolution. However, it could also lead to a more homogenized global culture and challenge the cultural and linguistic autonomy of different regions and communities. In conclusion, the idea of a single global language is both intriguing and challenging. While it would have the potential to make communication easier and promote global collaboration, it could also lead to the loss of cultural diversity and the erosion of linguistic traditions. It would require careful consideration of the many implications, both positive and negative, and a sensitive approach to the diverse cultural and linguistic traditions of different communities. Thank you for watching the video. If you liked our video, don't forget to like and comment below. And if you want more crazy facts, subscribe and press the bell icon.